So you're with Kennedy, he's assassinated, the staff gets these job opportunities. You instead decide to engage in this study, but you also get involved in the Charles Evers campaign. Tell us about that very quickly.
Well, I had met Charles Evers as a result of knowing Robert Kennedy. When he announced for the Senate, Charles Evers was right there with him, and that gave him an official. He was the brother of the martyred leader, Medgar, who had been shot. When the Evers campaign came, it was after the death of Kennedy, and so I called Charles and a couple of us, and we said, who had worked for Kennedy, said, we want to come down and work in your campaign. He said, fine, you come down, and and boy, I'll put you to work. And so here we were at Fayette, Mississippi. And Charles said to me, he invited me to stay at his house one night during the campaign, working for him down there. And he's staying. We're at his brother's house. He took us by his brother's house and showed us where the shot had hit the door, because if you remember, it went through his body and hit the screen door. And I mean, the guy must have hit him with an elephant gun. I mean, in terms of the death or the assassination. And so I said to Charles, well, how do you know we're going to be safe if I'm staying here with you? And he had a brick fence about 4 feet high around. He said, watch. And he hit his flashlight. And across the street, a signal came back with another flashlight. And he turned in another direction and flashed it again. And another signal came. And I said, well, who are those? And he said, those are the deacons, if you remember the deacons.
Deacons for Defense.
Deacons for Justice.
Yes.
Deacons for Justice. And I said, those are the same guys who've been following us. He said, right. He said he didn't go anywhere there wasn't a carload of guys with shotguns riding right behind him. It was like, it was like the military all over again, except that this was survival. But the Evers campaign gave another opportunity to see the power of people being in charge, whether or not it was Steve Smith, the president's brother-in-law, whether it was Nelson Rockefeller, the governor of New York at the time, whether or not it was Charles Evers, who in his own right was a real leader, right, in terms of what he was doing. But it was another part of my life which I'll never forget.